Hi guys, we have a new diary today, and it might be just a one episode reading because it's only a couple pages long, but we shall see. It can be a little difficult to read his handwriting at times, but I'll do my best. I have read through it and made some notes about some things, and I want to read something I've printed out. I'll have the links to what I'm reading down below in the description. The writer of this journal, this account, is unknown. I don't know his name or really anything about him other than he is in the British military. It's 1942 and he seems to be stationed in Algeria. So if anyone wants to, take a shot at figuring out who he is or anything, please feel free. These things, especially the military things, are not my area of expertise at all. I am going to read a little bit of what I found out about that time period and why they were in Algeria, and I will have the links to the websites I got this off of down in the description below. I'm going to start off with that and then move into the reading. I will probably finish it today. We shall see. Also want to remind you that for all my other diary readings that take more than one episode to read through, episodes 2 and above for all the other ones are over on my Buy Me a Coffee page, and there'll be a link to that below as well. I have a good collection of readings over there at this point, and it will continue. I post about every week and a half or so, so you can go check that out. Also, if you want to help support the channel, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I should have a little thank you button below each video now, so if you wanted to donate at all, you can do that too, because I don't make much money with YouTube. At the moment it's like $10 or $15 a month with YouTube, so not a lot, but I enjoy doing these diary readings, and the whole point is, well, to learn history and then hopefully return the diaries to the families of the writers. I've got 2 success stories so far, working on some other ones, but just trying to keep up with reading them and deciphering them and researching. So I need to go make use of my Ancestry.com account because that's gotten more expensive, and I will have to cancel that again when my 6 months is up. Forgive all the noises. It's either cats or squirrels, so not sure what that one is. Squirrels, probably. Sounds like squirrels. Okay, so we will get into reading a little bit about his situation here. So, control of the eastern Mediterranean was seen as vital to Britain's interests. A large garrison of British and Commonwealth troops was based in Egypt. Its main role was to defend the Suez Canal and protect Britain's oil supplies from the Persian Gulf. On June 11, 1940, Italy's fascist dictator Benito Mussolini declared war on Britain and France. Seeking to expand their African empire, on September 13th, the Italians invaded Egypt from their colony, Libya. Hitler realized that he would have to support the Italians, and on February 11, 1941, Major General Erwin Rommel's Africa Corps landed at Tripoli. The British won some spectacular victories over the Italians, but found the Germans a much tougher nut to crack. Troops had to survive extremely high daytime temperatures and very cold nights. Newly arrived men generally spent time acclimatizing in the Nile Delta before moving into the desert. Disease also took a toll on the troops, who were constantly irritated by millions of flies attracted by food, human waste, and dead bodies. On November 18, 1941, Auchinleck launched Operation Crusader, surprising Rommel as he was launching an offensive of his own against Tobruk. Oh dear, the fighting cats. Oh well. After several days of confused tank battles around Sidi Rezegh, Rommel advanced towards the Egyptian frontier, hoping to cut off the British. The Germans had outrun their fuel supplies, and their attack ground to a halt, enabling the British to drive them back. Tobruk was relieved on Cats. December 7th, and Rommel was forced to fall back on El Agela. I can't pronounce these. The Western Desert Force was now redesignated the 8th Army and was placed under the command of Lieutenant General Neil Ritchie. He replaced Lieutenant General Alan Cunningham. In January 1942, Rommel attacked again. The British were overextended and had not replaced their earlier losses. Rommel was able to advance beyond Benghazi. From early February to late May 1942, which is kind of when he is writing, he starts in January 1942. Rommel attacked again. Rommel was halted by the heavily mined British defensive line, which ran from Gazala in the north to Bir Hakeim in the south. At the end of May 1942, the Germans launched a fresh offensive and, after 2 weeks of heavy fighting, broke through. They captured Tobruk and pushed the British back into Egypt. And these cats, my goodness, they haven't really gone outside yet. We've taken them outside on the little leashes, and they really should go outside, but they're still a little scared, and I don't want them to run off and get lost. But, maybe today's the day. Kick them out. Apologies, had to pause and take care of the War of the Cats here. So, from the second website, a little more information. The 8th Army, formed September 1941, was a diverse formation made up of units from all corners of the British Empire, with infantry divisions coming from Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, and India. And I wonder if this guy was part of the 8th Army. I don't know. I assume. The original core of the army was based on the Western Desert Force, fighting in the North African campaign. It comprised of the 7th Armored Division and 4th Indian Division, which had had success in the early fighting of Operation Compass during 1940 to 1941. By October 1942, the 8th Army was made up of 7 British divisions and 4 Commonwealth divisions, including the 4th and 5th Indian Divisions, 9th Australian Division, and the New Zealand Division. So, that's the information I've got. I am not really interested in military things, and it gets a little confusing to me, although, it would be interesting to know more about what exactly he was doing there, who he was. But no, there are no names for him mentioned in here. He does mention having a kid brother, so he's got a younger brother, and that's about all I know about his family, his life. But maybe someone out there viewing this video might be able to find more. That would be amazing. But it's reached the limits of what I think I can do. Sorry, I had to get up and get my notes. I was missing a page. We will get started reading now. So, the first page is January 3rd, Saturday, or Janvier. It's a little French notebook. So, it says, still very cold. All brass monkeys taken in last night. And the brass monkey is the brass structure or monkey where cannonballs were stacked. I have several notes, words that I don't know. After Appel, there was an inspection of rooms and material as the tirailleurs, which are infantry soldiers, took over guard of the Mad English from the Spahis, which I'm probably pronouncing wrong too. So the Spahis are light cavalry regiments of the French army recruited primarily from the indigenous populations of Algeria. Twerp of an officer still taking Appel. He must have had one hell of a time on time. He's sorry, that one I can't read. It's like in quotes. His handwriting's a little messy. Show and jolly good radio program in afternoon. Forces favorites at 5:30 gave 15 minutes of super swing in the mood, but Hash came early and spoiled it all. all too ire-making, with apologies to EW. Ovaltine for supper and lights until 10-ish. So Ovaltine is a milk flavoring product. I'd heard of this before, but I was like, I better look this up. It's a milk flavoring product. January 4th. Not so cold, but wetter. Fire in mess after lunch and had wizard something tea. The tea itself was China and sent my dear Miss McKay in Algier. The eats consisted of fruit cake and creamy biscuits, followed by figs. Can't see that note. And super French nougat. Why can't I pronounce things? Boy, oh boy, that nougat had something, but was a shocker to cut up into 22 pieces. Still all were satisfied, so ça va. All this was in addition to Happy Wizard fried bread and tinned ham. Ovaltine for supper. A lot of Ovaltine. January 5th. Weather worse and wetter than ever. Poor blokes in Libya. All too shock-making. News pretty good. Tripoli raided again and ships sunk. Up 8:30. Had something in wizard hot water and finished Vile Bodies by do I have that right? Vile Bodies by Evelyn Waugh. Queer phraseology to shy making or sky making. There are a lot of words that I did not figure out and I still can't figure out. After moderate supper came the CO, do I have that too? No, CO's lecture on, it might be mines and mining. Trifle something making. He has a lot of little, I think, slang things in here that are hard to read in his handwriting. Ovaltine for supper, double strength and bloody good, but the daily bread ration seemed to vanish in no time at all. No time at all. Happy had minor something with Judy, and I slept through the greater part of said piss-up. A piss-up is a party. Minor something, don't know. January 6th, up 8-ish with the coffee. Lovely weather, rosy dawn, but cloud 8:10 at 9 a.m. Tirailleur, Colt, I think, took a pill. Very military, maybe good type. Let's hope so, for his sake. Dida. Maybe it's a little drum roll, I don't know. Received card, Falconer, of thanks from Annie Leclerc. Good old A, she is a sterling type and says that it is bien froid à Medea. So it's really cold in Medea. Brr, I bet it is too. Reasonably good weather. Sun shining and the deck chairs were outside the mess for the first time for 3 weeks. News okay, except for Malaya. Do I have that there? Malaya or Malika? Great pressure being maintained in Libya at Al-Fahia. Emperors. Espérons qu'il tombe bientôt. And I think I didn't write down translations in French. I think that means like we hope that it will fall soon. Espérons qu'il tombe bientôt. 3 new arrivals expected to arrive tonight from Tunis. Poor twerps. Dick Jones granted 15 days cell for being late for appel. We laughed, so did Peter. Hooray for Peter, the Ponce, back once again. And so did Dick. Good type, old Dick. Ovaltine for supper, lights out early, 9:20 p.m. January 7th, coldish morning, 7 to 8:10, cloud and slowly increasing, up early, 7:55. No new arrivals. News pretty good. Something in Sicily, blitzed by the RAF from Malta. Big day, received 4 letters from home. Dad has pruned the fruit trees, and the kid brother is is something better pilot and paratroop. Must write and tell him to pull his finger out. Paratroop indeed. Very cold in afternoon. Lit something fire for tea and received lots of good things. Writing pads, towels, shoes, drawing utensils, etc. from Algeria. And some wizard liqueur wine. 4 bottles. Grant drew something for something bottle. Happy did wizard fry for tea. Old H has got something in the fry making line. Ovaltine at supper. Oh yes. Search by tirailleurs in morning and troops radio confiscated and shocking spirit shown by NCOs. The NCO is a non-commissioned officer. January 8th. Lovely morning but cold. New chappie arrived. Name Wyatt. A very young 19 Welshman. Dashed around quite a deal after appel. Something up places from the NCOs for our mess. Rustling up places from the NCOs for our mess. No midday news, no radio. It was confiscated after the search yesterday. Adolph Cooper and Sergeant Hart gave exhibits or something of self-defense in camel paddock after lunch. Very cold and didn't last very long. Fled indoors and rustled up a spot of tea, only to be stymied by a douche at don't know if that's a time, can't read it. I was very dirty, tide marks very evident everywhere. I had not been to the douche for 4 weeks. Cut finger, colds, mess decoration. And I certainly enjoyed a spot of hot H2O. Blackcurrant puree, chutleys for tea. Chutleys? Really? I don't know. And after news, 700 Rommel moving. Sang Arabic songs with Dick J, and got Velling to promise to teach me WAP. Cocoa for supper. So WAP, wireless operator. Something to do with the radio. January 9th. Let's see. Many happy returns of somebody Pot's birthday. It's like a maybe grandma or grandpa Potts. That could be a clue if that's what he's saying. Bright morning and very cold. Didn't sleep too well. Was cold all night. After appel, put up new copper strip aerial in the mess. Tricky business, I think, standing on university easel. Thrill-making. Lunch arrived very early, and wood came at same time. Chopped wood and lit mess fire after lunch. Walk at 3 o'clock. Very windy, dirty, and cold, but not refreshing. NCO 1C sortie told me that we were cut off from the rest of Algeria as regards cigarettes, foodstuffs, etc. Brr, bad show. Tea waiting when we got back. Puree chudley. I don't know what chudley. I think I must have tried to look that up, but didn't have any luck. Whatever chudley is. Wizard. Hoppy, snooty, and standoffish. Wonder what's biting his liver this time. After supper, had party with Wythe crew. Good types and very young, 19. Oh, the sun is getting me. Let me pull that shut for a moment. The sun is encroaching. Just move a little. Not a fan of this setup, but that's what we've got. Where were we? Hoppy made Ovaltine, and it sobered me up completely. Went to bed after lights out for first time for weeks. January 10th, still cold. Had Italian lesson with Velling and then had haircut. Barber very chatty and not at all diligent. Bland his eyes, something. Don't know that one. Hoppy still moody and distant. Wonder what's biting him. Did swap with McDonald. Cigs for meat. After lunch, chopped wood and had tea, big tea, corned beef, and wizard cake handed something by G. somebody. Then wrote letter home. The first for a long time. Feel very guilty, but it has been cold. After supper, the news was okay. And then smoked one of Hoppy's special fags. Hoppy seems to thaw towards the evening. Phew, what a fag. Pipe tobacco. Ugh. Rover meeting in Robertson's cabin. Jolly good idea. Hope it holds. Ovaltine for supper, and so to bed. January 11th. Orderly officers, but Hoppy got up early for the coffee. Good morning. Italian lesson after Appel and a letter from Vera. Bless her. I reckon that she's the tops. She must have changed a lot since I saw her last. In her nightie. Shh. I hope she joins the WRNS. And WRNS is the Women's Royal Naval Service. After a wizard tea of fried egg, bread and sardines, sat and shivered until Appel. Watch stopped for 30 minutes. Prepared spread, and after reasonable French meal, the syndicate moved in on meat and peas, and to finish with a wizard spot of ginger pudding. I should count how many times he uses the word wizard in this thing. He loves this word. Party afterwards. The initiation of the anti-turd club. Judy, Steve, Hoppy, and myself got IOU from Steve for 2 steaks at the King's Head. Bed late-ish, quite sober. January 12th. Monday. Coldish morning. After Appel, got wizard letter from Colette and cable from home. Cheers. Letters from somebody starting with an A have arrived chez moi. Hooray. I'll bet the dear old folks were pleased. Tried to write letters home, but it was too cold, so planned letters to Kid Brother and to Colette and sent cable home. News not so hot. Retreats according to plan in Malaya. Rommel still retreating. Weather must be shocking in Libya. Moaned to French about grub, I think, quantity, and expect results. Adolf Cooper took the initiative and told Peter where he got off. After supper, went to Adolf's I can't read that. Wizard sick-making dodges, corks in shoes, jaundice, etc. Hot wine in mess after lecture, but had too much too much last night, so stuck to Wizard Ovaltine. Bed early, reading Four Just Men until lights went out at 10 p.m. Had very good night's sleep for change. January 13th, goodish morning and full ration of coffee. Had WAP lesson in wireless room, but chose wrong day and were turfed out because of French A. Brickle, not polite and apologetic. Is it not? Brickle most polite and apologetic. There's a difference there. After lunch, tried to write letters, but it was much too cold, so went to mess, secured deck chair, and finished Four Just Men. Not bad. Cigarettes arrived, 6 per person. What a farce. And Monty smokes 50 to 60 a day. Started Mr. Britling Sees It Through. Another book. H.G. Wells. Slow going at first. Smallish tea, mess fairly warm but empty. Felt uncomfy. Wish my clothes were mended and fitted me. Must grab a needle someday soon. No lights till late-ish. News fair. Something fallen. No, I'm not sure. Something fallen. Old Adolf Cooper got 15 days for his moan about grub and impertinence. Did cartoons for Echo after supper, potatoes. Then made early Ovaltine and to bed. In Dan's bed, playing poker late-ish. Okay, had good fun. Monty some mole. I don't know what it means. January 14th, Wednesday. Wet morning. Missed something of douche. Missed fiasco of douche. The something tirailleurs are something awful. Had hefty WAP lesson. Must get down to it. Hoppy got new pair of boots. Mine going downhill very quickly. Got letter from home, and after lunch grabbed table and mess and wrote 4 letters. 2 home, Colette, Miss Mackey. Or Mackay, I'm not sure. I think it's Mackay. Mackay? Good tea of toast and pilchards. Water would not boil, so brewed tea and was quite good. News fairish. Rommel now at and about El Aguila. That sounds familiar. I think I read that to you. Camp Echo out today and quite good. After supper, hung up wood and wrote to Vera, bless her, and then went to discuss with Robbie our coming concert. Must do something bigger and better this time. 2 Ovaltines and then to bed at 9:25, and were caught by the lights. I don't know. No signs of the Governor General yet. Sent VM a cable for her birthday. That'd be Vera, whatever her last name is. January 15th. Bright morning. Peter presented Sergeant Stephen with a wheelbarrow at Appel. Wonder why. Lucky old Stone. Had French A and dictée. was the first time that I had been for ages, and something that was very snooty. Oh, so much I can't read. I'm sorry. After cat lunch, grabbed H. Husties. After many a summer dies the swan. Oh, after many a summer dies the swan. That's also on Amazon, and I did not note the author's actual name, but it's a book. And settled into a deck chair. But Judy, something me to tidy the library, then got beret from stores and got OM deck chair from Sergeant Adams. Good tea, toast, pilchards. Lasted well, those pilchards. Actually, I don't know what that is. I either didn't look it up or couldn't find it. I'll have to look up what a pilchard is. Let's see, 3 meals, jolly good too. Had wizard something, and after a pell, settled down to the book. Very good. News fair, Malta rated heavily. Looks like an attack on our little gem of the Med. After supper, tried very hard to settle into book, but had to attend L. Smith lecture on makeup behind the scenes. Quite good, but too long. Had Ovaltine. Fergie tipped his pot and put the fire out. Ham Taft type. Had session with dictionary, but lights beat me to it. Happy playing late poker. The sun is getting me again. I can't close that anymore. January 16th. Average cloudy morning. Red Cross breakfast foods. Exhausted. Had something sucre de raisin on bread. Okay. Our zoo still going well. Wimpy still on heat. This is not making sense to me. I'm probably not getting this right. Raph still randy and something likely to pop at any moment. Had lefty WAP lesson. G somebody, a new pupil, but has grip on language already. After lunch, had session with book in mess, but had to break off, for as it was a warm day, I took the opportunity to stitch up pants and wash hankies. Goodish tea, toast and sucre de raisin. Book going quite strongly, very amusing at times. More cigarettes arrived, 14 each. Gave tobacco ration to Hoppy, but it is the something time. His is amazingly ungrateful and forgetful. Robbie's wireless lecture after supper was excellent. Hoppy in bed, sickish, and had something for supper. Ovaltine nearly finished. I think Hoppy is groggy. Hope it isn't jaundice. January 17th, Hoppy feeling better. Good show? Something. News not so hot, 8 a.m. German counterattacking in Russia. Got wizard wall maps for mess. Hoppy had salts and made tea for 3. Good show. Too late for French A. Going strongly on after many a summer dies the swan. Good news at 5 p.m. Halfaya, Libya, fallen into our hands. Unconditional surrender without distinction of arms. Without, destruction of arms? I am not sure. Hot diggity. Wow for Galaga, was that the name of the place? That I mean, that must be where he is. And what is the name of the place? Well, I am not sure. After supper, had rehearsal of sketches for coming show, and then to Rover meeting, all jolly good show. Must say that I feel jolly fine, fit as a fool, and I only hope that I'm not ailing for anything. Cocoa for supper and cup of tea from Steve Rodman. Bed 9:30 and had lights all the way 10 p.m. Had wizard dream of home. Remember jumping up in the drawing room and turning down the radio at 8:30 so that the chef de port would not turn off the current. January 18th, wizard morning, made tea after Appel, wrote letter to Twink Ein, and had lunch of haricot, like beans. Jolly good, but not enough. Down to book in afternoon. Good tea, toast, and green peas. Had words with Hoppy about combine spirit. All okay. Had good something, shave and change into clean clothes after tea, and after Appel, tied wizard bow, ready for wizard supper. The jelly, Hoppy's special, was simply luscious. Chatted and told stories until cocoa at 9 p.m. Hoppy turn and bloody good too. Great saccharine shortage, and cigarettes scarcer than ever. Cooper, maybe, smoking tea leaves. Wizard swing on radio. Lights out 9:30. So then we've got some blank pages. A lot of blank pages until we got January 29th. Darn this sun. January 29th, Thursday, up early, tea made and breakfast over before Appel. Hoppy, maybe? Hoppy not quite as crotchety as yesterday. Wonder what's biting him again. Wizard morning, but trifle windy. And then he's not writing as much now. February 12th. Oh, I kind of skipped ahead. No, wait. Yeah, that's interesting. Goes. I wonder where the rest of his journal is. Like, why is it this small? It kind of skipped from like January 30th to February 11th. But so on the 12th, he was vaccinated at 9:30 a.m. On the 13th, orderly officer and swiped a baker's dozen of wizard biscuits from ratings gallery. February 14th, Rover meeting delayed due to tardiness of mess stew. Robbie pretty bitter about it. Had 2 pipes, I think, and learned the twist fill from Blayton. Then it's a little, I don't know if this is supposed to be over there, I don't know. Feeling pretty groggy in evening. Am hurting, itching from vaccine, and feeling rather feverish. Late supper of red X roast pork and Tinkerbell green peas, and so to bed. To bed. February 16th, Hoppy up with the coffee while I lay in for a day or 3. Feeling pretty feverish and am throbbing. Sty making its presence felt on starboard eye. Got cracking on H.G. Wells's Joan and Peter. Very interesting book, and although written about the finish of last century and up to beginning of war 1914 to 1918, has not dated except for details. Government still blundering along, shelving crises and making glorious retreats out of ignominious defeats. Fall of Singapore and Churchill's speech last night. I have some news, some somber news for you. I meant to look that up and see if I could find his speech, but no. I have some articles, some pages about the fall of Singapore, but no, not Churchill's speech. Makita biscuits and Kraft cheese for supper. Super. February 17th, Hoppy up with coffee again. Head and fever and arm better, but sty much bigger than ever. And arm painful on contact. Finished Joan and Peter and got up after lunch. Cooper, Leslie, the Red Cross King, presented me with toothbrush. Good show. I've never known a toothbrush vanish into stumpy bristles so quickly and so completely as these French efforts. Stap me. Pancake Tuesday, I think. Stap me. Why don't I have these things written down? I didn't complete my notes. It's a slang thing. I'll put the meaning over there. Sorry. Stap me. February 18th. Peter came across and asked our adjutant to furnish him with stacks of particulars about all interned naval personnel. Woohoo! What a flap. Gee, somebody, in something, it is repatriation, Charles, something it is for Kef. And so as not to be disappointed, I am sure it is just a routine buzz and that it is not le patriment. Good douche. Am feeling much more comfortable. Got butter and lemon curd from Red Cross. Mess something at night, not so very good. Mess stew at night, not so very good. Or is it that we are all pretty well replete from BRCS? And that might be the British Red Cross Society. Lily's puppies, now 21 days old, and learning to bark and make a mess. February 19th, remnants of new wimpy crew arrived. Boo, their ordeal make all other arrivals in the benighted continent seem like a party. 8 days and nights in a dinghy, 2 suicides, and 1 officer trapped in aircraft. Appeared at Appel looking decidedly un-British, shaven and shorn, and in French pongs. I can't read that. I tried to look this up, but I did not find the incident he's referring to. Some military who spent 8 days and nights in a dinghy, and the officer trapped in aircraft. I'd be very curious to read about that, but I couldn't find it. The light is getting me. We have two more pages. February 21st. At lunch, CO recalled a buzz originated by something in the U.S. consulate, Tunis, to the effect that all naval personnel may be, at some future date, sent to Toulouse, I think, in the south of France. Immediate speculations, but I reckon that any move could be for the better. After lunch, fixed props for Cooper Adolph's party. Robertson shaved, and after supper had bubbly with Hoppy, and Judy donned bow something and went to party. Wizard show and Pika liquor, whiskey and champagne. Not sure. Got letters from Pat Chambers, I think, and from home. And our last page, February 22nd, Sunday. Awful rainy morning. Feel as if I am in for another sty in the same eye. Bloody nuisance. And that's all we've got from his journal. This mystery man in the Navy, I believe, in Algeria. It would be very interesting to find out more about him, like figure out who he was, what happened to him, did he make it home? I don't know. This one seems like a tough one to me. What if you can crack it? I have scanned this and I've put it up on my Lost Diary website and through the Buy Me a Coffee thing. You can buy it for $5. I think it might just be available to subscribers there, but if you're interested, I can find a way to get it to you. Still sorting that stuff out, but it is there. If anyone wants to take a crack at it, just go follow some links below or send me a message somehow and figure that out. Because that's the goal, to figure out who they are and find their families and see if anyone wants their journals. I would love some long-lost diaries of my ancestors. Hoping someday to find some. That would be amazing. Anyway, we're gonna call it a day now because the sun is getting me, and I think that means I gotta go spend time outside because it's been pretty like cloudy and cold, and it's actually a nice day today. So I think that's it. Nothing else to say. Go check out the Buy Me a Coffee if you're interested in other diary readings. You can, check out my channel to find, whose diaries I've been sharing. And yeah, that's about it. So I will see you next time with a new diary. Since that one was so short, we'll go on to the next one. I'm deciding between two, so it'll be a surprise. Okay.